I've just caught up with Steven Khanna of WhitePress, one of the biggest backlink agencies in the world. And we're talking all about the state of backlinks in 2024, how to use them, how to really move the needle with backlinks, and some of the latest trends that they are seeing with millions and millions of dollars being spent on backlinks each and every month. So let's go and catch up with that conversation. Press, you're head of English markets over at WhitePress, one of my personally favoured link building, and you're probably not a link building agency, but I'm going to bill you as a link building agency. You can set the tone straight there. So welcome to the Affiliate School channel, Steven. Great to have you on.
Likewise, Jason. Happy New Year to you, to your audience, mate. Honored to be here. Yeah, really looking forward to having this chat. And as you introduced WhitePress, yes, I mean, primarily, yes, we are a link building agency, but we do like to kind of call ourselves like a content marketing platform. The world of link building, as you know, can be dark and gray sometimes, and we try to be that one shining light, the one silver lining, to try and do it in an ethical, authentic, but also qualitative manner.
Absolutely. I first came across you guys, I think it was this time last year. So I had a meetup with Charles Float. You know Charles. He's from not too far away from me. I think last Christmas he was back visiting family. So we had a chat and I said, what do you do for link building? And he mentioned WhitePress as one of his main vendors. So obviously I checked you guys out. So it's been 12 months since I've been aware of you. And I think one of the things that I really like with your platform is that you give us a lot of control. So it's not like we're just saying, right, we want a load of links and we give you, say we want to spend $1,000 a month, off you go. You actually give us the control and we can see everything. It's very transparent. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. I also want to pick your brains on kind of the state of where link building is at the moment. It's always a contentious issue, isn't it? It's always one of these contentious practices that certain people will go against, other people not so much. But although I do feel that most people agree that it does move the needle. So we're going to get into that. And also, I just want to kind of pick your brains on things that you are seeing with WhitePress, because I imagine you get access to a lot of data, a lot of orders that are coming in, and to see whether things are changing, particularly post helpful content update or post core updates last year. So there's a lot that I want to dig into. We're obviously going to talk about the WhitePress platform a little bit as well. And I've also got some questions from Twitter. So I think there's a lot we can dig into today. Again, I've done a review of link building platforms in the past, and you guys have come out as one of my top picks. And like I say, pretty much you're pretty much the only link building agency that I go to now. So I think that in itself probably speaks a lot as to your service. But so let's kick things off then with regards to, we're in 2024 now. Obviously the SEO landscape, particularly amongst affiliate websites, niche sites last year kind of got obliterated to a certain extent. What is the state of link building in 2024, do you think? Is it still important? I mean, I'm guessing you're not going to say no, but what's your view on the state of where we're at with link building these days?
Yeah. Post the last update we've seen, and yes, a lot of sites were obliterated. No matter what people say on LinkedIn or on Twitter, X, where links apparently are not that important of a ranking factor, especially when someone from Google comes out and makes that statement. It's like, I don't know, the number 3 ranking factor. There is surely some truth in it. I'll give that. Why? Because people, of course, have moved away leaps and bounds from doing link building on a huge and massive scale. I do believe quality over quantity is the way to go, 100%. We have seen where some of our biggest clients, rather than doing 50 links a month, they've actually now gone down to 30. But then within those 30 links, they are now beginning to do a lot of niche edits, and that is where we feel where the trend's moving. And it's a no-brainer. You want to do a niche edit to an already existing page where, you know, the content's been reviewed, it's all indexed, there's a lot of traffic coming there, it's no risk at all compared to putting a new guest post out there and hoping to get lucky. You know, there are, we of course have our inventory is really healthy, but then having a healthy yet massive inventory, you will have your, you know, troublemakers slip through the cracks where, you know, guest posts might end up being on orphan pages, or, you know, what they talk about, it might move the needle no matter the DR or the DA or the traffic, and we all know it all can be faked at this stage. So when people are coming to us, what we've now done is we're offering landing page free audits, which generally SEO agencies cost or charge you at least 500 quid. We do that for free. We try and understand, okay, where exactly this landing page needs to go. And we are also pushing for quality over quantity. You know, if people come in, listen, now I want to go into page 2 because I'm in page 7 at this stage, but my link building budget is 1,000 quid a month and I'm happy with $50 links. We're actually saying no to them because we know it's just going to be damaging. We all know that. But it's funny and surprising for me where the SEO world has moved on from those link farms and spammy sites, but there are still enough brands out there who still haven't moved on, and they still think linking to these spammy sites or someone recommending another site or another link building or a link reseller charging them $50 seems to be the way. So to kind of concisely summarize it, quality over quantity and a lot of niche edits is what I see where 2024 should be heading.
Okay, well, let's just dive into that a little bit deeper. I just want to clarify first of all what you class as a niche edit, because there will be people watching this that they're not SEOs, they won't necessarily know what a niche edit is. I think most people are pretty familiar with what a guest post is. So what's the difference? Yeah,
so niche edit, it's quite simply where one of our clients would pick a very relevant niche specific website, and I can give an example. Someone within the fashion space might pick, I don't know, hairbeauty.co.uk. I'm randomly making up a name there, yeah. And then within that website, one of their pages where all the fantastic blog articles are existing, and there's a lot of traffic coming there, and one specific article which ties perfectly to that brand, talking about hair products and whatever, we then obviously approach to that publisher, and then we try and get the client's link inserted within that article. And sometimes it comes across, there's an added extra text which goes with it just to, you know, organically make a lot of sense within that specific paragraph. So quite simply, guest post is you write an entire article yourself and you place your link in there. In this, with the niche edit, you place your link in there and you can probably get it done with one extra line of content or maximum half a paragraph. But
I think that's really...
Sorry, yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's really interesting that you've said that link inserts or niche edits have become more important. It's certainly something that I have focused on a lot more in the second half of 2023. And particularly your platform makes it super easy to find them. I mean, some of the link insertions that I've managed to get, I mean, there's one, a UK site called Reader's Digest, which a really powerful website, and actually they have pages that are ranking on page 1 for some of the terms that I want, and in my opinion that is the best type of link to get, a link from a page that is already ranking for the target keyword that you want to rank for. And you know, yes, there's obviously the cost varies. That one in particular was probably not the cheapest, but it definitely moves the needle in my experience. And for younger readers or watchers, they won't necessarily remember Reader's Digest, but it was like this big thing in the UK. It was a physical thing, and then obviously it's now all online. But
I agree.
But yeah, so and there's so many opportunities like that. But I think so are we saying then the real power there is in the relevance? Of like the niche relevance?
100%. There are so many brands we've been looking after recently or onboarded since 2022, and we've seen the dynamic and the brief change. One brand I can openly mention, I haven't signed any NDA with them. You know, they've got the money, they've got the blink to spend, but it needs to be so specific down to the needle where not even a home improvement or real estate website is good enough for them. You know, it needs to be extremely very niche driven, and then within those websites, once they want to do niche edits, it's of course more digging in there. So what I forecast, link building agencies in particular will surely have to work a lot harder in 2024 to keep their clients happy. But I think the return on investment there would be that they'll be able to keep those clients happy and with them on their books much longer, because they're then doing things the right way. You know, the churn rate we've seen with link building agencies based on the data available to us, 1 year tops if you were lucky. But with this approach, I can clearly see going up to 24 months, if not longer, as long as they still have the link building budget with them. And then a third miniature bit, which I think people should look at more carefully. So we obviously are friends with Kyle Roof. Kyle very recently did a no-link case study with Chris Pantelli from Linkify. And as long as the site is authentic, fantastic traffic, DA, and they tested it on one of their newer websites, a no follow link would also pass link juice as long as it's relevant. And that's something we picked on it, and we started, we own some of our websites as well. We tested it internally in-house, and it did actually move the needle quite a bit. And now we've actually gone back and we've suggested the same strategy to some of our clients, because they come in sometimes expecting us to earn them links with some absolutely fantastic, stunning websites, but they want that done within 2 weeks, 2 days. It ain't going to happen. So I do tell them, well, the easier route then is, let's just curate the content which is highly, highly relevant, A, to their readership and to your brand. It will be no follow, but trust me, it will move the needle. And it does.
So let's just dig into that a bit more then. So do's and don'ts when it comes to maybe guest posts or link insertions. Some people that, like, I'm very hands-on when it comes to the link building. So I'll just kind of scour the metrics and check the domains myself, and I'm quite I'm quite comfortable with doing that. But someone watching this who wants to buy links, but they're not sure whether that link might hurt their website, what should people be looking out for?
Yeah, so this is again based on how we've seen the landscape change based on the brief and our in-house SEO team. You're looking at websites, stop looking at DR, because a lot of people focus on DR, which can easily be faked and manipulated. So go, obviously, the domain authority score. Look at the spam score there. Anything below 3%, 4%, the number of outgoing domains, the referring domains. Look at, obviously, the traffic trend over the last year, 2 years. And if it's not falling off a cliff, then, okay, there is something, something which is isometric, increasing, would, of course, give you the idea that, okay, this is a website I can potentially link to. But then, people do need to click on the website. They need to look at the content there. And again, it all comes down to relevance, because that's what Google is looking at. Google has been quite clearly screaming out that, guys, when you're linking with other websites, it needs to be based on relevance. It's I can't stress enough, but not too many people actually go down that route. But I think that only happens because the KPIs and the expectations internally with the teams to progress with their link building strategy is too aggressive, which is completely counteracting to what the current landscape is, which is quality over content. So you can't have both. It's impossible. That's a car crash waiting to happen. So my recommendation would be, you want to do link building, do it in a relevant manner, have some budgets put aside to it. Highly optimized but relevant content. Clearly, don't use any AI, because there are plenty of AI detecting tools out there. The editor's going to obviously decline all of that. So yeah, these are some of the bits we look at.
So, and I suppose part of that is having it appear to be natural as well. So, you know, I think you touched on the fact earlier that actually no follow links also move the needle. And if you're acquiring backlinks naturally, then you are going to have a mix of do follow and no follow. Also, things like anchor text, I think, is an interesting one. I think that's a big question that people often have. So, first of all, is that natural element, is that important? And then, as the follow on to that, how would you then apply that thinking to anchor text?
Yeah, anchor text again. Yeah, good you brought that point up. As you said, all appearing natural and organic, and it's important that you're not leaving a footprint behind. And there are lots of people who come in and say, "Nana, mate, I want this specific anchor text which is fully optimized or semi-optimized, but then it needs to be in the first paragraph for all the links they're trying to build."
It's just going to look, yeah, there's a footprint there.
When you organically linking, naturally linking to another website, which editor in his right mind would actually do it that way? And that's exactly how Google looks at it. So of course your anchor text needs to be spread out. It needs to be a mix of semi-optimized, fully optimized, exact brand match, and just have it kind of all around the article. And also a lot of people go down that route where all their guest post articles are of the exact word length, anything between 700, 750. You can't have that. You know, it needs to be, again, matched up and kind of, lots of points, like kind of hidden ways of not being identified by Google that you're not linking naturally. But a lot of people don't know that. So again, people, your audience, some of the beginners who are wanting to get into link building and guest posting, please make sure that you're having relevance to the websites you're linking to, but you're mixing up things.
Yeah, I think you would always advise to err on the side of caution. So if you're not sure, if you think that that's too aggressive, whether it's anchor text or the, you know, the name of the guest post, the title of the page, always go for something a little bit more conservative. And I think if you follow those other principles that we talked about, particularly in terms of looking for placements on ultra relevant websites, I think you're generally going to do fairly well out of it. And I think there is an over-reliance on those anchor texts. And I think people do that because initially they see that bump from it. But I think you're right, in the long term, it does catch up with you eventually.
It does.
So you do have to be careful with that. And I've definitely been guilty of that in the past. So, I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, people do get excited. They see the elevation, and then it does burn you at the end for sure. And that's another reason why people love working with WhitePress is we try to steer away from all these spammy link farm websites, PBNs, which means we've got these fantastic relationships with authentic real websites who do care about their own SEO. So for them, whatever 200 quid, 300 quid is not that important, because their entire SEO of that website, which is their digital asset, is worth hundreds of thousands, if not £1 million, you know. So again, with guest postings, you know, the tonality, it cannot be super promotional. It needs to be relevant to the audience or the readership they've got. But I think people think money talks. So if they're paying the top back, they expect people to simply just bow down and accept it.
And anyone that's done outreach will know it's bloody hard work to get a site to agree to a link, unless that's primarily what they're there for. And that's what we're exactly trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid guest posts on essentially guest post farms, aren't we? We want placements on real websites, but they are the hardest to acquire. So you've got, how many sites have you got on your books now? I mean, it must be hundreds of thousands.
They are. So we currently operate in like 29 different languages, and the current inventory holds very close to 90,000 websites.
Wow.
And then every team internally has got a KPI of adding minimum 400 new websites, authentic websites, every month. And we make sure that when we're onboarding these websites, the first criteria, do you own the website? Because we do not deal with any resellers, because we all know what's going to happen. So no resellers. It needs to be a minimum DA of 20, a minimum organic traffic of 1,000. Then we've got our internal onboarding team, which looks at the content quality, the technical scores. All of that is displayed as you showed in your review the other day. People can do their entire due diligence because of the transparency for every website we've got listed. But if I speak primarily about the English markets alone, I think I've got about 11,500 websites, but we're going to be building that very aggressively in 2024. By the time we end 2024, I'm hoping I'll be sitting on 20,000 English websites. And what I mean by that is traffic coming from primarily US, UK, Australia, and Canada.
Yeah, and that's phenomenal, really, when you think that the quality threshold that you guys have, that to get to that number, you will see guest post providers that will say we've got hundreds of thousands of websites, but like you say, they're not necessarily going to pass your threshold, which I think is really important. And that does, particularly for beginners, that does give you, that kind of peace of mind, I suppose. So in terms of costs, there's a big range of costs on WhitePress. Is it the case that a more expensive link is better, or is that not necessarily the case?
I think, again, you need to mix it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a bigger budget and you can build anything between 25 to 35 links a month, what we recommend then people is to, have a wider range, DA 30, 35, have, 10 links from there. And then anything between 45 to 60, have another 10. And then do include your 5 or 6 really big ones, the really massive ones. But then again, we know it. There are plenty of massive websites out there, but they're primarily existing there to, earn from guest postings and all. They'll get slapped down. So yes, surely do that if you've got the budget. But if you're very limited, you can still mix and match. Even if you can only build 5 links a month, at least have one of these top quality ones. Even if it's no follow, it doesn't matter. And the other 4 could be kind of your mid-ranged. But again, as I said, and I've said it enough times, as long as they're relevant.
Absolutely. So, and what's your take on other types of link building? So obviously we talked about guest posts, we talked about niche edits or link insertions. What about things like Harrow or even PBNs? People are still using those. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'll touch on the PBN bit first, because for me, working for WhitePress, being in 29 markets, and of course WhitePress primarily, it's a Polish company. I'm currently sat in Poland there in the head office. And PBNs is really, people love PBNs in the Central and Eastern European parts. And they seem to think that same logic applies in our markets, which we clearly know is not the case.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but, this part of the world, God bless them. Google probably is not that severe on them. Keep going. Yeah. We still try to stay away PBNs, even in these markets where we operate. Surely not recommended in our part of the world. And when it comes to Harrow links, I've always been fascinated. I'm not really an SEO expert or a guru. My journey with SEO has only been 2 years. But for me, Harrow links or Harrow link building, even though it's not very scalable, but I think it's a lot more satisfying and enjoyable because the stories you got to curate, the expert comments you need to bring in order to then start pitching to get those Harrow links. Helping a reporter out is always the right way of doing things. Do I see WhitePress one day doing Harrow links? Perhaps as a very small secondary revenue arm, because as I said, I don't know if you agree with me, because it's clearly not scalable. We do 15,000 links every month. We're trying to do 28-30 million euros every month as our annual revenue. Harrow links, it's a drop in the ocean for us. But I've always been fascinated. Again, a good friend of mine, I'm sure you know him as well, Chris Pantelli from Linkify. Mm-hmm. Love his agency, love the work.
I do as well. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it is, and I think to have that mix makes sense, particularly if you are building you know, if you're building clients 35 to 50 links a month, I think it does make sense to have a little bit of that thrown in as well. I think it really does. And you know, potentially you'd be picking them up naturally as well. So, and then digital PR, I suppose, comes into that as well, and be more proactive rather than reactive with those campaigns. So you've touched on, I mean, you've already mentioned one client in particular. I'm not expecting you to mention names. Obviously, you mentioned as a client. What sort of users do use WhitePress? Because I use you, and I'm just a guy sat here and, you know, small portfolio of websites. What's the range?
Yeah, we've got about 70% SEO agencies who use us, rest being brands. And the reason SEO agencies love us is, A, they've got this huge inventory at their disposal. We've done all the hard work for you. You know, we've done the outreach, we've cracked deals with all these website owners. And on our platform, as you showed your audience the other day, it literally is 2 clicks and the article order has been placed.
Yeah.
And then because of our fantastic relations, I'm proud to say we've got one of the quickest turnaround times on the planet. Standard link building agency, anything between 14 working days to 28 or 30 working days. We endeavor to get a link live within 72 working hours. I mean, that's how our filters. You know,
it's unreal. Yeah. And I, you know, I'll stand and be a testimony to that. You guys do deliver links the quickest I have ever seen. And I think I'm right in saying that there's probably link providers that also use your services. And again, why wouldn't they? Because they're just going to put a markup on it. It's fast. It's a good service. So if you're using other link building agencies, I'm not saying that they are all doing this, but I feel like there are some that are just, you know, using a platform such as yours and then putting a markup on that as well. So you're just paying a middleman, I suppose. They
do that. You know, some of our competitors, if I might say, but obviously
they're customers as well. So,
yeah. and I've got good relations with them. And again, another reason why they like using us is we don't do the classic mistake of charging the end client silly money for a link.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to obviously put numbers here, but we all know some of the numbers or the prices being charged are just absolutely ridiculous. We come in, you know, wanting to build that longer relation, just like yourself, Jason. You know, you service your clients exactly in the same way. That if you're giving people relevant quality links, they're being published quickly, and it's not costing you an arm and a leg, why would people change?
Absolutely. No, agree 100%. And I think, again, for me, you guys are very personal. You know, you're quite often reaching out and, you know, saying, should we jump on a call? Should we do this? And right from the get-go, you know, you gave me that onboarding session that I don't think I've ever had that with any other link building company. So that in itself was really valuable for me. So, okay, that's really, I was going to ask you to do a over the shoulder kind of showing us the platform, but I think I'd rather pick your brains a little bit more while we've got you. And if people want to see a bit more of the platform, they can access the video that I did a review recently. So I'll put that link in the description below. So if people do want to see the platform in action, go and check out my review, but do it at the end of this video because I'm sure Steven's still going to share a few nuggets with us. So I want to get on to trends then. So, you know, obviously we said helpful content update, lots of core updates. Last year, probably one of the most disruptive years or volatile years that I've known in recent history since like Panda and Penguin. What have there been, you know, you mentioned about going to link insertions. Are there any other trends that are kind of noticeable with link building or even just SEO in general that people maybe should be considering, or is it really what we've already discussed and is the relevance and switching maybe a little bit more to link insertions?
Yeah, I wish I could answer this question in a more detailed manner, but you know, based on the SEO part of the industry we service, I think, and I've got no issues in saying, you know, that's where my limited knowledge ends, to be honest, as much as I want to.
Yeah, because I think it's also important to say that you're not an SEO by trade, are you? Which I didn't realise, that you've got this whole background of that's completely away from SEO.
Yeah, 23 years back in the UK, running Michelin star restaurants. I'm also a wine sommelier by trade. And I stumbled my way into SEO because my missus is Polish. We came to Poland 8 years ago. And then from teaching English to then selling wines to then stumbling upon WhitePress. And I loved it. I'll be honest, the first month or so, I had no idea what was going on. People talking about indexing rules, do follow, no follow, tagging it as sponsored. I got no idea. That sounds black magic to me. Compared to now being invited on podcasts, whether it's Charlie's SEO stream, which happened in London quite recently. So still, of course, early days. I've only scratched the surface. Can I hopefully see myself as one of the SEO experts 5 years down the line? Who knows? Who knows, man?
Love it. It's a rabbit hole, isn't it? And once you get into it, it's really hard to get out of. And I think if you've got any kind of competitive nature within you or any kind of addictive personality, I think that it just hooks you. And I'm all of those things. So it's like, for me, there's no way out. Okay, I'm going to ask you, we've got some questions from X, Twitter, whatever. So this first one's from James Oliver. And I think it's a good question, actually. He's asking, how often do you update the traffic of the sites that are displayed on your platform?
Fantastic question. It's one of my pet hates, I'll be honest. And I do bang my tech team's door and a dev team's door every morning to see if we can fix it somehow.
Yeah.
Currently, it's happening every 30 days. Okay, I'd love it to happen. I'd love it to happen every day, but we all know the costs involved with it.
Yeah.
With Ahrefs charging what they're charging.
Yeah.
So we do it every 30 days, and the conscious decision we took, because we used to do it every 60 days, but then we cut it back to 30, because based on the quality of websites we've got, unless a website's been penalized, it's highly unlikely that the traffic's going to fall off a cliff and all of that. So 30 days seemed the most relevant time period to update, and we do that when we're doing a demo onboarding any new client during a 20-minute call. We do actively mention this to them. But then there's a sweeter side to it. If people want absolutely updated info for every website and people really don't have the time to do that themselves, that's another element where WhitePress is great at, is you simply email us, me or any of my account managers, what kind of websites you want, what are the SEO metrics you're looking at. So we go in the platform, we shortlist, we prepare a shopping basket, and then we check it on that day, what the traffic, the DA, everything else they want, the spam score, whatever that is. So people end up getting updated, personalized, curated shopping carts in their emails, and we're not charging a single penny for that.
That's great. No, that's brilliant. I think personally, I think every 30 days, definitely better than every 60, but I think 30 days is good. I don't think, I thought it was going to be a lot more than that, actually. So yeah, I think that's pretty decent. And he does actually follow that on with another part to that question. He says, what do you check what pages get traffic? And I suppose this might be interesting. I don't think you do, and I don't know how possible that would be to do, because it's going to be on a massive scale. Obviously, from a link insertion point of view, that might be useful. For me personally, if I'm looking to do a link insertion or a niche edit, I'm going to just take that page and throw it into Ahrefs anyway. And that's probably where I'm going to find the page in the first place when I'm looking for what page I want to place it on. Is that something that you guys offer? I'm guessing not purely because of cost.
Yeah. It's, as you rightfully said, the amount of work which will go into it and the costs involved. Is it in the pipeline? Yes. The last leadership meeting we had, this is something we would eventually graduate into. I'm probably thinking Q2 2025, not at this stage. But hey, again, as I said, niche edits, we offer the same thing. If you want irrelevant pages within the offering, just email us. We'll do that donkey work for you and make sure that the relevant info is being passed over to you. So we very cleverly combined fantastic technology of the platform and the self-service aspect, but we've given you the human element where there's complete ownership of your account with an account manager there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I think you can see why the agencies are going to love you guys, because you are doing 95% of the work for them. Okay, Dorothy Gale. I think we've already kind of covered this question, but Dorothy Gale asked, "How aggressive or conservative should we be in 2024 with anchor text?" So we kind of covered this already. I mean, I kind of answered it actually. So what's your take?
Yeah. Again, it needs to be balanced. It needs to be very organic and natural. Natural is the right word, to be honest. Yeah. But then it all comes down to the website you're linking and what are the editorial guidelines. And again, it kind of ties back to our platform, because every website we onboard, there are very specific editorial guidelines there of what they will accept in terms of length of content and what kind of anchor text. And if you see the editor is being quite easy about it and you think it's worth taking the risk, go ahead, be a bit aggressive. But again, excess of everything is bad. I think that's a logic you would apply to any walk of life, to be honest, not just SEO.
Absolutely. Okay, I agree with that 100%. And then Taco, final question, asks, what do you consider the best interval between new links to build a natural link profile, and how many at once would you do as a max? With a lot of services out there, you get 100 links within a very short time frame. No, I can see you shaking your head. I was thinking exactly the same. The first part of that question: best interval for new links for a natural link profile, and how many at once would you advise? Yeah,
I think within the first 6 to 12 months, I would say go at a rate of anything between 6 to 10 links a month. See how it's progressing, monitor it over every quarter, every month, so to speak, and then amplify or decrease based on the results you guys are getting, for sure.
I think you definitely don't want to go 100 miles an hour right from the get-go. If you go from never having built a link to building 100 a month for the first 3 months, you're going to get a penalty, I think.
100%, yeah. And a lot of people end up making that mistake because clearly they want return on investment a lot quicker. And it, Jason, SEO is anything but quick results. You need to have patience. And if you don't have patience, I would say don't do SEO. Just stick to your Google Ads then.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you can just switch on and do overnight. It's been an absolute pleasure, Steven. Really enjoyed having you on. If people want to sign up to the platform, what's the best approach? I'm going to put links in the description below. But what's the process if someone does want to sign up to WhitePress?
Yeah, so quite simple. So as you said, you're going to put the links in there, or they can visit our website, whitepress.com. It takes 30 seconds to create an account over there. The moment you've created an account manager would reach out, send you a welcome email, ask you to show you the platform for 15 minutes on a call. Brilliant. And I'd highly recommend, please do jump on the call. Yes, the platform looks extremely easy to use. It is really, you can start placing links within 5 minutes. But then these nuggets of extra offers, we're talking about discount structures, dedicated outreach, curating your own baskets, having a better understanding of your brand. I would recommend do take that call and do have that 20 minutes of your time given to my account manager, where you can get a much better service or links coming back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd echo that. Take advantage of the call. There's no obligation either, is there, as far as I'm aware? So, at the very least, check it out. It's a great service. It's what I'm using for my link building. So I'll do the sales for you. Steven, it's been a pleasure. Where are we going to see you next? You guys are everywhere at the moment. You're sponsoring pretty much every SEO event on the planet.
Our ROI on attending these conferences is just immense. If there were no conferences, I'll probably still be making 100 cold calls a day. But the next one is Dubai. So we're holding this SEO and AI focused conference with Charles Float in Dubai, 22nd, 23rd, 24th of February. Very exclusive, only about 110 people to be there. So there's luxury, there's education, there's networking, there's mastermind, plus there's a lot of fun. We got a pre-event yacht party. There's an after party on the beach. So anyone wanting to be part of that, can connect with me as well on LinkedIn. I mean, tickets are there to be bought on our website. But if you need kind of further information, group discounts, whatever, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. and I'll be very happy to kind of offer that. And after Dubai, of course, we got plenty of events. We're holding another SEO Vibes in Poland. We're doing another one in Cyprus. Yeah, plenty more.
Nice. I'm definitely going to try and get to one of those this year. Steven, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll catch you soon.
Excellent, Jason. Pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot. Cheers then. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did, and hopefully you've learned something about backlink building along the way. If you do want to see my full video tutorial on WhitePress, on the WhitePress platform, then you can check out this video here. And don't forget, if you do want to go straight over to WhitePress right now, the link to that is down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.